Patrick has utilized our services here in the past, approximately 3 or 4 years ago, and he's come back today on a follow-up basis, and it's given us a chance to see what has been happening since the last go-around. And Patrick's been kind enough to share a little bit about his experience, both in terms of that original time that we worked together, as well as some things that we've discussed here today. And I'm going to let him take just a few minutes and share his experience and how he feels the work that he's done here at JFCS has been of help to him, ways that he's benefited, and so forth. So, Patrick, I appreciate very much your assistance with this, and I'll just turn it over to you and let you say a little bit about that.
Okay, thank you. I was a good friend of mine highly recommended the services here. His son was counseled here and was helped quite a bit. And that was in 2008. I started, called Bob, and we set up a long weekend during which Bob interviewed me several times and took many tests over the course of 2 to 3 days. And it was very comprehensive. Bob tested my preferences in terms of career and interests, tests regarding my personality, tests regarding my abilities with reading and learning, and in the end gave suggestions as to how I might be able to make the change from one career into another. I think one of the best things that I came away with during that meeting, and then a subsequent meeting is meeting with Bob, was some insight about what would be a good match for me. And the test that he administered gave some real objective evidence as to what would be a good match for me. And not just insight into what would be a good match, but also what was highly likely to be a poor match, which was just as helpful in, for me, transitioning from one career to the next. It's been over 3 years since we first met, and this is a follow-up visit, and now I'm amazed at how on target Bob was when it came to identifying some careers that I would probably be happy and that would be suited for me. And after 3 years of investigation and concluding, looking at one particular avenue, it turned out to be one of the first suggestions that Bob had for me back in 2008. So I thank Bob for that, and I'm very happy with the services. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, Patrick. I appreciate you sharing that. And at this particular juncture, I'm going to actually turn things over to Michelle Dillon. Michelle being Patrick's wife, and the two of us had an opportunity to also work together, pretty much coinciding in time with what Patrick did. So at this particular point, I'm going to turn it over to Michelle and let her say a little bit about her experience and how she feels that this was helpful to her. Michelle?
Okay, thanks, Bob. Well, I was 42 when we started, so I was through 20 years into physical therapy career, which was something I liked to do, but had varied interests, and didn't know where to go from there. So I came here on Pat's suggestion because he had a good experience, and went through the same intensive testing process, which caused me to ask a lot of questions. You know, do I want to spend a lot of time doing things I don't mind doing, or do I want to pursue something that really holds my interest and which I can sustain a passion in? Some areas of strengths were identified, areas to improve on or to pursue, as well as areas to stay away from were identified. And I took Bob's advice and worked on some areas that needed some development. And I've learned a lot through those, and those will help me develop in the new career path that I'm working on. I've also been able to see the long range, as well as what I need to be doing to work towards new career changes. And it's just been very important in my life, and I've recommended it to other people. What I didn't expect, and what I'm glad of, is it helped me, the whole process has helped me find a way to integrate the different areas of my life into a career path. So I'm not just, instead of coaching swimming as a volunteer activity, I'll incorporate my interest in an art career into my volunteer activity. So it's been it's helped me integrate my interests as a whole. So I'm very thankful for the experience, and that's all. Thanks.
Thank you, Michelle. And if I may just add a point or two, we do normally recommend to folks that we work with, the folks that go through our comprehensive process, we recommend that they certainly think in terms of follow-ups, take advantage of follow-ups, whether they do that sooner or later. We find that there is typically a lot of benefit to that. So we have had a follow-up meeting here today, and it's given us a chance not only to update, but along the way, as I heard you share where you're at this particular stage, it's given me an opportunity to offer some ideas, suggestions, and so forth. If I could ask each of you to just kind of speak to the benefit of the follow-up today, if you would maybe just add a few words about that. Michelle, you first.
Well, I think I would say that it validates what I've already been doing and reassures me that I'm on the right track. I have a renewed excitement for where I'm going, and a renewed commitment to the new path. And I'm excited. And I see this as a long-term journey, as adult development, and I can see that I'll need to follow up again in maybe 3 years, maybe sooner, because there are seeds of excitement for further development after I meet the goals that we've talked about today. So, I think you're not finishing the process if you don't follow up.
Terrific. Thanks for sharing that as well.
Thank
And
you.
Patrick, I'll turn it back over to you. If you could address that issue of the benefit of follow-up, and particularly today's follow-up for you.
Now, I would agree with Michelle that very validating that the process showed that certain interests, certain kind of careers would be better suited for me, and that certainly panned out. And then the follow-up visit became a way to talk again to Bob, who can give objective advice and very helpful and important hints and ways to continue from here. So I appreciate that as well.
Great. Thanks so much again to both Patrick and Michelle, and we'll stop at this point.